Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This right here is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's wonderful to have you along for the ride as your Philadelphia Eagles bounce back against the New Orleans Saints. Dallas Goedert goes off. Saquon Barkley goes off. Above all, and my biggest doubt going into this game was the Eagles' defensive line. Through two games, they allowed Josh Jacobs, Bijan Robinson to just have their day. And they were going up against Alvin Kamara. They were going up against New Orleans Saints, and they dominated. Here's the thing. If you look at Alvin Kamara's numbers in this game, you go, 87 yards. That's not terrible. 40 yards through the air. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, you'll take that, right? But when you consider that he was, through the first 2 weeks of the season, untouchable. And he comes into this game against this defensive line at home, Alvin Kamara, in New Orleans, and the Eagles brushed it aside. They looked like, this defensive line looked like they had been playing together for years. They actually looked like they played together in college, finally, a lot of these guys. And they went out there and they dominated. And the guy I look at most above all else, Saquon Barkley, great game. Dallas Goedert, great to see you. Jalen Hurts bouncing back there in the second half and reading the defense. Oh, we'll get to that. Reed Blankenship with a huge interception to seal the deal at the end of the game. As Chauncey Gardner-Johnson said afterwards, and you'll hear him, oh, baby. They looked at him and they said, oh, we're going to get one eventually. Derek Carr is going to give us one eventually. But above all else, Jalen Carter, to me, I hope this was your coming out party. I hope this was your breakout party of actually backing up the words that were said in the offseason about nobody coming to save you except you. The only people coming to save Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Jordan Davis gets his first sack. Jalen Carter is just a menace. And really, what sticks out to me is, I know people don't like to bend but don't break. They don't even want to bend, but sometimes it happens, right? Opening drive of the game, 15 plays. They're marching down the field. They convert 3 third and longs. I believe it was a 3rd and 9 and a 3rd and 8. And then finally, push comes to shove. And it's a 3rd and long. Derek Carr rears back to unleash fury. I think it was to Chris Olave, the intended target. He had been converted third downs, 2 of them already on that drive. And you see Jalen Carter throw his hands up in the air to bat down his first of 2 balls on 3rd down. That, to me, is, I mean, you talk about winning one-on-one battles. You talk about applying pressure. You talk about making stops, tackle for loss, whatever the case might be. He is back there making plays. He's up there making plays yesterday, just the way you would want him to throughout an entire season. And I really hope that this becomes a model of some younger players down the line. You know what? This guy can't figure out. Nobody can figure out. Well, Jalen Carter figured it out. And when he figured it out, oh, man, he was wreaking havoc on offensive linemen. He was wreaking havoc on running back. He was wreaking havoc on quarterbacks. I hope this is the breakout party for Jalen Carter that will represent the rest of his career. Where if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you got to face that guy next week, you're going, I don't know how we stop that. Because that's the way he played in this game. That's the way you want him to play for his career here in Philadelphia. Can't be impressed. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, as always, with his mouth, is going to be drawing a lot of attention. Okay, he's drawing a lot of attention, and in some aspects, I respect it. Others, not so much. In this particular aspect, he drew a lot of attention to himself with just a couple of words: "See you in New Orleans." In other words, keep that energy about how we're bad, about how we're terrible, how we have a terrible defense, can't stop the run. Keep that energy, right? See you in New Orleans is what he said. So he gets a lot of attention, formerly being in New Orleans, of course, and then being traded to the Eagles. And we have a long rant for you here from Chauncey Gardner-Johnson when it comes to what he had to say after the game. And, it's enjoyable. But there's one player that talk about being under the radar. It was very much under the radar. And is the biggest brag on this defense for Vic Fangio, without question. Zach Bond was also returning home to New Orleans, or home, his former team. Zach Bond in this game, his 3rd game of the season, passes his career high for tackles in a season of 30. This is something that we had been joking about for a little while, and he actually did it in this particular game. How incredible is that? How amazing is that? 3 weeks into the season. He's played 16 games, 17 games in New Orleans. Comes into this one, 3 games, big bang, boom, over 30 tackles. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. But Vic Fangio, 2 things on Fangio. 1, looking at Zach Bond play a little bit in New Orleans as a linebacker, not a special teamer, but a linebacker, and going, yep, that guy right there, I need him on my defense. That guy right there could be a special player on my defense. And what has Zach Bond been? Zach Bond been pretty special player on this Eagles defense for at the very least 2 of the 3 games. The Eagles just didn't have anything going for them really the Falcons game, but it is what it is. But still, pretty good defensive effort overall in that game until the end. And then Vic Fangio was asked leading into this game on Friday, I think it was. Or Thursday, excuse me. What makes you so confident that you have the personnel to actually do what you want to do defensively when it comes to stopping the run? Because I've seen them play. That's how I responded, because I've seen them play. I mean, we saw them play through the first 2 weeks, and they weren't stopping Robinson. They weren't stopping Jacobs. So there was a lot of cause for concern that they would need somebody, folks, to walk through that door and save this defensive line. Fortunately, in this particular game, it looked like the Eagles walked through that door on their own with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, with Milton Williams, Thomas Booker showing up again, and they took care of business on this defensive line. I don't know what Vic Fangio said. I don't know what the coaching points were, but it looked like a completely different team. And I was trying to really hammer home in the offseason this buzzword, and we talked a lot about Vic Fangio doesn't allow a lot of pressure. He doesn't like a lot of pressure. He doesn't like to dial up the blitz. Vic Fangio, he doesn't, excuse me, I forgot the pressure. That blitz. He doesn't like the blitz. Okay, fine. He plays quarters, soft shell defense, and all that stuff. One of the words I was really trying to force over with everybody was discipline. Eagles had a huge discipline problem when it came to gap responsibility, assignments, tackling, staying in your lane. Huge problem with that at the end of last year. And this year, we saw a good amount of that as well in 2 games. Too much. I'll go ahead and say too much. And in this game, we had Seth Joyner and I and Derek Gunn. We're doing the post-game show. And all of a sudden, Seth's like tapping me right out of a commercial break, and he's showing me his phone. And like I didn't have time to read it. We were just coming back, so I just kind of glanced at it, and I just thought I thought I saw BG, and then Gunner's showing me his phone, and I'm like, what's happening? And I'm like doing a sponsorship read, and I'm like, what's going on? And they go, BG wants to join us, and I'm like, oh, okay. Seth didn't reach out to him. Gunner didn't reach out to him. He just said, I need to come on. So from outside the Superdome in New Orleans, Brandon Graham joined the show. And I asked him that very same question. I said, what happened? What happened in the locker room? What was different about this week going into this game as compared to what we had seen in the last couple of weeks? What was going on here with this Eagles defense? What was going on with the run defense there? It looked very different. And he said that Vic Fangio stressed gap responsibility, staying in your lane, and discipline going into this week. In other words, the guys I have in this locker room are good enough to do what I want them to do if I'm Vic Fangio. Either you guys are good enough to do what I want you to do. I know you guys can do what I want you to do. It's just a matter of you actually going out there and you're doing it. That's where it all comes together. Nice. We can have a great plan. We can have a great attitude. We can have great motivation. We can have the world against us. Well, you're going to make the world right if you don't execute and you do what I know you could do. And Jalen Carter did what made him a first-round draft pick. Jordan Davis did what made him a first-round draft pick. And Milton Williams did exactly what Vic Fangio wanted him to do, to the point that, remember, Vic Fangio wanted to trade for Milton Williams when he was in Miami, and how he wouldn't do it, according to Vic Fangio. So if I look at players, like my game ball in this one, Gunner and Seth went with Jalen Carter, and he would be the number 1 player that I'd give the game ball to. But when it comes to anybody else outside of that, I look at Vic Fangio, what this defense did against an offense that was scoring 45.5 points per game going into yesterday. And the Eagles held them to 12. That is absolutely incredible. I also got to give it to Jeff Stoutland. Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and spoil one of the clips I have for you guys. So you have Fred Johnson, you have Tyler Steen come in and play the game. Lane Johnson's out with a concussion. He's vomitous. It's that bad, unfortunately. Tyler Steen comes in the game to play for Mekhi Becton, who shot out of a cannon, got the starting right guard job out of camp. He dislocates something in his finger. They get him on the sideline trying to blanking on it, but just testing his hand essentially. Jabbing is the word I'm looking for. And can't go. Has his hand all taped up, can't go. Tyler Steen, Fred Johnson are in there. Enters Stoutland University. And one of the guys that was offering a lot of praise that offensive line, especially the backups, was Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley on why and how these guys played so damn well.
That's why Stout's on their ass like that every day. Everybody, they all get coached like starters.
As you would assume, the dean of Stoutland University on their ass every day. And they didn't miss a beat. They really didn't miss a beat. When Lane Johnson went out, that's the time I went, Tyler Steen, I've seen play the right guard spot. I thought he's been okay. He hasn't been great, but he's been okay. Yesterday, he was good. Fred Johnson was good. This Eagles offensive line stayed together despite losing 2 guys. And after that, in that fourth quarter, is where all hell broke loose for this Eagles offense. And really, as a team in general, it was incredible the way they finished this game off. And here's what was so amazing about that offensive line helping out Saquon Barkley. Think of the way this played out. Eagles are down 3-0. They haven't even scored a point yet. And we'll get to one of the reasons why not. I think it's because Nick Sirianni is terrible. But anyway, we'll get to that later. Eagles get a block. The Eagles punt gets blocked. They're punting from the New Orleans 49. They have an opportunity to bury the New Orleans Saints. Let's say 49ers. Saints deep in their zone, deep in their territory. Punt gets blocked. Saints recover at the Eagles' 27-yard line. Eagles, fortunately, get a 4-and-out for the Saints. So this could have been a huge turning point in the game where the Saints just take it and run, or take it and take the ball and run with it, literally. Well, they did. Kamara went for 3 yards, then 6 yards. Then he got stuffed at the line of scrimmage by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Nakobe Dean on a 3rd and 1. Then on a 4th and 1, Alvin Kamara goes left tackle where Zach Bond is sitting and waiting for him. Run stuffed again. Back-to-back plays. Eagles defense turned the tides of that game. 4th and 1. Here's how quickly this was insane. Okay, you have the block punt. You have the 4th down stuffing of Alvin Kamara. And then the Eagles get the ball back. Start of the 4th quarter. They have the 4th and 1 stuff by Zach Bond. They get the ball back at their own 18-yard line. Devontae Smith catches the ball for 6 yards. Devontae Smith catches the ball for 6 yards. Devontae Smith on 1st and 10 gets sandwiched. Knocked out of the game. Concussion. As far as the play goes, I didn't think that was a late whistle on the play. It wasn't helmet to helmet. I saw some people saying it was helmet to helmet. For helmet to helmet to happen, you have to have a helmet on a helmet, and the tackler coming in didn't hit him in the helmet. I felt terrible for Devontae Smith. He's lying there on the ground, and whenever you see him not get up, and whenever you see a player just unresponsive, that's obviously a huge concern. From a football perspective, you're already down 2 offensive linemen. You're already down A.J. Brown. Britton Covey, I think, has already been knocked out of the game. And now Devontae Smith is going to be leaving the game. You haven't scored points yet. You don't have any points. It's 3-0 in the 4th quarter on the road against New Orleans. Talk about things turning. Very next play, Saquon Barkley breaks free for 65 yards, and the Eagles go up 7-3. That is one hell of a roller coaster. From the game time, it went from the blocked punt at 1:35 of the 3rd quarter to Saquon breaking free at 13:27 of the fourth quarter. And the Eagles in the lead. If I would have told you the Eagles get a punt blocked, lose Devontae Smith, and they're going to take the lead, you would have said I was crazy. Yet here we are. That's resiliency. I mean, you talk about next man up. You talk about rallying around, and that's what was making Jalen Carter so crazy at the end of the game, talking that trash, and rightfully so, being pissed off about Devontae being knocked out of the game, being pissed off about Darius Slay being ridden out of bounds and thrown to the ground. There are crazy moments in the season, and whether it's a 63-yard field goal, for instance, by Jake Elliott against the Giants, and it's a 61-yard field goal by Jake Elliott against the Giants that turns the tides of the season to go on and win a Super Bowl. Whether it's one play that rallies the troops, whether that be against Devontae Smith, whether that be against Darius Slay, whoever it might be, there are certain points in the season you never know when they're going to happen where a team just finds that next gear. They could prepare. They could work their asses off. They could be doubted tenfold. But then that one moment comes that is the moment that pushes the button and goes, all right, next level. Jalen Carter walked into the game at that level, which I loved. The rest of the team, I think, got to that level after Devontae Smith was taken out of the game and Darius Slay was roughed up as well. Talk about having each other's back. This team had each other's back. After that, we could talk about that Jalen Hurts pass to Dallas Goedert. The first one earlier in the game, it should have been a touchdown. I think it was en route to the unfortunate Jalen Hurts interception, and we'll get to that. Jalen needs to put that ball out in front of Dallas Goedert a little bit more. It was a good throw. A great throw scores a touchdown. A good throw got exactly what it got out of that play. Trying to see if I can get that for you. All right. But yeah, the Eagles were obviously rolling. The Eagles were trying to get something going, and then they ended up turning the football over, unfortunately. But seeing the offense respond the way they did, especially in that fourth quarter, and the big play to Dallas Goedert, what really helped turn the tide of the game was when Jalen Hurts apparently recognized what the defense was doing. What? Yeah, that's right. You heard me. And essentially called the play, alerted the play, according to Dallas Goedert. We'll let you hear from him in a second. And that just ripped everything open for the Eagles. Everything open. And Dallas Goedert goes 61 yards. What's left out of this is that it was a 3rd and 16. And here, I'll let Dallas Goedert walk you through it. Here's Dallas Goedert after the game.
Yeah, we knew they'd play man with the running back coming in. We knew it was man. Jalen alerted the play, got us to a good play. And, Jahan did a great job picking for me legally. He made a couple defenders run into each other, did his job to the best of his ability. When I caught the ball, I looked, I said, where is everybody? And then, I just ran as fast as I could, as long as I could. And, thankful that we got Saquon. I was able to get in the end zone twice there to kind of give us the 3-point lead. And then shout out to the defense. They played great the entire game. And Reed with another incredible game, the finisher. So, it was a team win. It took all of us. And, we played a really good complementary football. The defense gave us a shot all the way to the end. And when the offense needed to step up and do it, we were able to. So feels really good.
The first part of that, what was that? Jalen alerted the play? He was asked to clarify. I think it was ESP. I think it was Elliot Shore Parks that asked the question. So, wait, whoa. So Jalen called the play? Well, yeah. All right. Good for Jalen. Turnover is still an issue, but diagnosing what the defense is doing. Oh, man coverage. Hey, Dallas, be ready. And that time he hit him in stride. Great throw by Jalen. On the money. Eagles were able to punch it in with Saquon Barkley. 4-yard touchdown run. They get the 2-point conversion as well. They go up 15-12, and bing, bang, boom, the Eagles win the game. Reed Blankenship, as I mentioned, comes up with the game-sealing interception. Both wins have come courtesy of Reed Blankenship game-sealing interception. And I got to look at this team and go, damn. They overcame mistakes. Speaking of mistakes, let's start off with the easier one. Jalen Hurts. First off, ball security on the fumble. No, there's a guy behind you. No, you're being pursued. Was it just the fingertips? Who was it? Graderson knocked it out. Be aware. Be aware. That can't happen. Can't happen. The interception. The first thing I thought when I watched the interception was, did he stare him down? Like, first off, I thought, actually, Devontae Smith needs to continue that route and keep running and put up somewhat of a fight for that football. But that would be to make up for Jalen Hurts' bad decision. Tyrann Mathieu was sitting right there. Honey Badger sitting right there. And I thought, okay, he stared him down probably. I went back, looked for that specifically. And I give Jalen Hurts actually credit for at least doing this. When you see this normally on a throw, it's a good move by a quarterback. I think it might have taken Jalen Hurts a little bit off his target. He's looking left. He drops back. He looks left. Bang, comes back around to look down the middle of the field. And I don't know if he wasn't able to pull focus in time, but Honey Badger's right there doing Honey Badger things, waiting for the football. He steps up into the route a little bit, and he intercepts the football in the end zone. Red zone turnover. You can make if you're a blind Jalen Hurts supporter, I love Jalen Hurts. That's a mistake. I love Jalen Hurts. He's made too many of those mistakes. 15-12, albeit a nice rally there in the fourth quarter. 15 points ain't a brag by the offense. 2 turnovers by Jalen Hurts. That ain't good, especially when you consider how last year went and how the first 2 games of the season have gone as well. That can't happen. I'm sick of talking about the same mistakes. Ball security, errant throws. And I can, as I've told you before, I could deal with a quarterback sailing a football. Wide open receiver sails it over his head. It happens. But bad decisions, not recognizing what is in front of you, not seeing a safety sitting right there in your route, let's work on that. Other mistakes, not by Jalen Hurts, but I don't understand what Nick Sirianni is doing. I don't get it one bit. To not learn from your mistakes from last week, to not learn from your mistakes last year, to not learn from mistakes in yesterday's first half and make them again in the second half. Dude, take the points on the road. You're going into halftime. This is what drove me absolutely bananas. Excuse me. Eagles are in a situation going into halftime where they face a 4th and 1 from the New Orleans 15-yard line. You have not scored points. You haven't scored points. It's 3-0 still. You have marched the ball down the field. You started at the 7-yard line. You're now on the New Orleans 15. All right? Great job moving the ball. Could you get the absolute killer? No, you couldn't get the killer. So 4th and 1. They line up in the tush-push formation, and they hand it off to Saquon Barkley, who runs left. He took responsibility after the game, saying, I got to find a way to get a yard there. It's my responsibility to find a way to get a yard. I'll say this. I fully expected the Eagles to kick the field goal in that scenario because why? Any moron would learn from their mistakes. Well, apparently not any. You see the Eagles go over to the sideline, and Seth Joyner sniffed this out immediately. Nick Sirianni called the play. He not only made the decision, he called the play. I said last week, Nick Sirianni, actually Tuesday, Nick Sirianni is not going to overrule Kellen Moore because Kellen Moore was brought in by Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. You overrule Kellen Moore, you're telling Howie and Jeffrey, I'll run the show. I'm the head coach, even though you've been neutered. So instead of overruling Kellen Moore, he just said, hey, I'm going to call the play. This is what I want. And notice after the game, he took full responsibility for that. And he didn't say, I take full responsibility. He said, hey, just run. That was my play call. I called it. Time. Everyone came over. I called the play. That's the play I wanted. That was the decision I made. That was on me, not on Kellen, just so we're clear. All right. Last week it was Kellen calls the plays. This week it's you taking a little bit more responsibility for yourself there, Nick Sirianni. All right, I like that. By the way, I do think he wasn't lying last week when he said Kellen called the play, the throw to Barkley that was so controversial. That worked, except the fact he dropped the ball. So listening to that and watching that on the sideline, I see Nick Sirianni over there. I see Jalen Hurts go over to him. When Nick Sirianni first addressed Jalen Hurts, the look on Jalen Hurts' face was, are you sure about that? That's the only way I can describe it. I didn't get a sense looking at Jalen, because we all knew what was happening at that point. They weren't kicking a field goal. They were going to run a play. I looked at Jalen Hurts, and I was like, the look on Jalen Hurts' face said, Coach, you didn't learn from last week? Now we're on the road in New Orleans. There is 14 seconds left on the clock. You don't just want to take these nice, juicy 3 points with Jake Elliott as their kicker? You don't want to do that? Really? Okay. You want to run play? You want to run what play? The tush push? Oh, not the tush push. Oh, you want? Oh, okay. Coach, there's 15 seconds left. Maybe this gets us 2 shots in the end zone. Maybe. Just take the points, bro. Didn't do it. They went for it. They did not get it. You guys watched the game. You know what happened. They didn't get it. Then you know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. Then in the start of the third quarter, Eagles get the ball, start things up. They get to a 4th and 3. They do not get the 4th and 3. And you know what they do instead? Or they went for the 4th and 3. They use Jalen Hurts, drop back to pass, and he gets sacked for 6 yards. Bang, bang, boom, done. Just like that. Did not learn from the first half mistakes of this game. Did not learn from last week's mistakes. Did not learn from last year's mistakes. We're still looking at the same mistakes. I'm beyond that. Look, Nick Sirianni said after the game that CJ was like, Coach, we got your back. We got your back. You're great. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know where it comes from, but I don't see it. I'm beyond out on Nick Sirianni, and it feels to me that the guidance counselor routine, oh man, that must be worth a lot, because the guy that is stepping in to call a play or two, or the guy stepping in, which really his one job, like his main job, other than the emotionally intelligent thing, his main job is to decide on 4th down, 4th and short, are you going for it, or are you kicking the field goal, or are you punting? What are you doing? And he has been terrible at that. So what do we got to survive this because he claps well? What are we doing? What are we doing here? You can't continue to have mistakes like this. You're not going to be a successful football team. You literally brought in 2 guys that could be the head coach of this football team. And I didn't even think about it like that until Gunner pointed it out to me yesterday. Because if you're bringing him back to be the head coach, you're bringing him back to be the head coach. You just don't want him calling plays or anything else. But really what they did was send him a message, be like, hey, dude, you're replaceable. Kellen Moore, we've already interviewed him as a head coach. We decided to go with you. Vic Fangio has been a head coach. He's been a coordinator in this league for 20 years. Yeah, he could do it too. I don't think Vic Fangio wants any parts of being a head coach right now, so I think it would be Kellen Moore. And then Coach Nuss taking over the offense, but as offensive coordinator in name only. But I don't understand what Nick Sirianni is doing at all. And I know I am not alone on that. Seth used the phrase yesterday, did everything he could to try to lose this game for the Eagles. Oh, and here's the other thing. The time he actually decided to kick the field goal, here's what was crazy about that. Didn't learn from his mistakes there in the first half. Finally trots out Jake Elliott for a 60-yard field goal. Hey, ice cold Jake Elliott. Come on to the field. Kick a 60-yarder, why don't you? Missed. Gives the ball to New Orleans at their 42-yard line. Or, 50-yard line with the kick. They march down the field, and they get the touchdown to Olave. They go up 12-7. Thanks, Nick. You're the best. All right. As I mentioned earlier, Jalen Carter was a star of the show for me. Here's Jalen Carter. Remember, he said his game was trash. Okay, he said his game was trash. Here's Jalen Carter talking about his game yesterday where he was dominant.
Trash.
You didn't think he did well tonight either?
I still don't like how I played, but I know that we played good as a team today. That's one thing, and I'm happy for that. I think we got some boost in the locker room right now, and we just got to move on to next week and get another dub.
You love it. I want him to have that attitude. I want him to have that attitude always. They followed up and said, well, what do you got to do to have a good game? What do you have to do to actually love the game you played? And he was like sacks. Like, I got some sexy numbers, I guess. Whatever. I thought he played. I didn't think he did. He absolutely played great. Absolutely played great. Finally, the last cut I have from you for the locker room. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson really had a lot of fun running his mouth after this game. Without further ado, I think I have this here. Yeah. Here are about 90 seconds. Here is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson post-game about this Eagles defense.
We knew he was going to give us one all game. Like, everybody want to bet on, they thought they had us on a little 7 route to Olave. Okay, cool. But ain't nothing go over our head all day. Oh, cool. It's cool. It's cool. We got the best secondary, best D-line, best front seven in the league right now. And I'm popping it. Because at the end of the day, they say we were down and out. They don't about last week. Now look at you now.
That's been the top offense in the league coming into today.
Man, we're in top what? Top what? Top what? Ain't nothing to get over that top from shout out to Slade, shout out to Q, shout out to Vontae, shout out to Reed, shout out to Ringo, shout out to Coach CP, shout out to Coach JK. Hey, man, the best secondary in the league. That's the case.
What'd you have to play through today?
We ain't played through nothing. Played through my teammates. I'm not worried about somebody. Listen, we keep receipts. That's what I told y'all in the locker room. See y'all Sunday. But I told y'all a couple days before, they got rid of me. I ain't get rid of them. It's still in me. It's still tallied on me. I ain't worried. Come on, give me another one.
How were you guys able to bounce back on a short week?
Man, we put our head down and get that taste out your mouth, bro. I feel so relief right now. At the end of the day, my team did this one. It wasn't me. It was my team. Our team came together. A couple guys went down. A couple guys spoke up, and a couple guys understood what the task at hand. And we came through locked arms, and we came through and kicked the door in.
Where was the confidence coming from after last week?
Man, the confidence coming from ourselves. We got to believe in ourselves. Everybody say, we coming against the number one team and all this. Man, listen, at the end of the day, it's football. It's only week 2. How you the best offense and best team if it's only been 2 weeks played? You still got what, 17, 16 weeks to go? So at the end of the day, we had to just tune out the noise, understand who we were, and just go out there and play equal ball, and that's what happened.
I just noticed right now. Thank you. Yes, I just noticed that. 35, make an edit in the thing. So let me start that over. Slagger 57. Nick Sirianni is running the sound on the Farzy show. Yeah, I had to mute that. Sorry. You're not a lip reader, Luke Skywalker? The lipster? Sorry. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson breaking that down. All right. My favorite thing that he said was when he talked about how he basically trash talked the media. Like, give me another one. Give me another one. Every single team needs that moment where you push that button and all of a sudden it's different. It's just different. Something changes. It's different. That was the moment in this game, I think. Looking at the way the defense responded, looking at the way the offense responded to their guy getting hurt in Devontae Smith, looking at the way that the defense responded when Darius Slay got hurt, both teams stepped up. And you take the good with the bad with a guy like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, for instance, whether it's missing a tackle or it's plugging up Bijan Robinson at the line of scrimmage on a 4th down against the Falcons in week 2, or it's stepping up and making big plays in this game, whether it's Zach Bond returning home, whether it's Chauncey Gardner-Johnson returning to play against the Saints. This team responded as a whole. And that's what you love to see ultimately from this team. And that's what you want to continue to see as well as the season goes on. Before I go any further, let me tell you right now about the incredible people at mime impression is great. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. Let me tell you right now about the incredible people at the Game Time app. Game Time app is where it's at. You want to go to the game? Want to go to the concert? Want to go to the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. That's the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app. Get $20 off your first purchase with promo code Farzy. Here's the other thing. Last-minute ticket deals, flash ticket deals, even ticket deals for an hour after the event starts. Handle it all right there at the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's phlsportsnation.com. Let's get to the chat check and see how wonderful people are doing on this fine Victory Monday morning, with the exception of the Phillies losing to the Mets last night. IBH, good morning. Sean Gillespie, good morning. So glad for the that needed win and the fact that the Cowgirls and Whiners lost. That is a good feeling. Eagles fan, good morning. Great defense yesterday. Hope the offense wakes up at some point, as do I. Sean Kilrain, good morning. Seems that Huff snaps have been downgraded from 30 to 18. Anyone else notice it? Hold on. I have the snap counts in front of me here. I didn't look at it yet. 32% of the snaps. Good God. Hey, if you ain't playing well, you shouldn't be playing. Trying to see wow. Booker played 11 snaps. I think that's down from last week. Bond 100, Quentin Mitchell 100, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson 100, Kobe Dean 98% of the snaps, Slay 84. Milton Williams up to 66%. Oh my goodness gracious, Brandon Graham 62% of the snaps. What? Here's the scary thing with Bryce Huff. 32% of the snaps is far less than what he was doing with the New York Jets. That's like a full almost 10% less than what he was doing with the Jets. So that ain't great. He wasn't making $50 million plus with the Jets. You know what I'm saying? IBH, hello. Only reason I can think of for the 4th down decisions is because the coach had little belief the defense would be able to do what they did. Well, to me, that doesn't factor into it only because you know that your offense is struggling. Your defense is playing well. Your offense is struggling. You're on the road. It's before halftime. You have the opportunity at a 10-point swing. You kick the field goal, you get the 3 points, you get the ball back at a halftime. The next thing you know, you score a touchdown. You're up 10-3. To me, that also reeks of desperation that you needed to go for it because it's the only way that you're going to win the game. With your offense not scoring points, that is. Daz, beautiful morning. Wine Niners Wine. Hello. Great post-game show yesterday. Did you hear halftime Strahan say Soriani, best new name? Sariani? That's great. I did not see that. No. April. Hello, April. April, happy birthday to you. And yes, thank you. You know, I don't really, but whatever. Happy birthday to you, though. I hope you have a great day. Thank you. He spit on Smitty? I didn't see that. Malik Johnson? How you doing? Notice the snaps. Sean Kilrain wishing a happy birthday to April. I love our chat. Jordan, hello. Thank you, Sean. April, yeah, it was a nail biter for sure. Went out to eat after, and I had some tequila. Well, there you go, April. I'm jealous of that. Ooh, Sean Kilrain. Jalen Carter reminds me a little bit of Sapp and Aaron Donald. Would love him to be Jerome Brown 2.0. Yeah, I hope that's the way that happens. I'd love to see that. Oh, yeah, that's a great point. Devontae, hello. The total offense, like because of the huge plays, that was insane. Like, for instance, Jalen Hurts yesterday, 311 yards, no touchdowns. That pretty much sums up. 311 yards passing, no touchdowns. 170 receiving yards for Dallas Goedert. Barkley had 147 yards on the ground. Like, this is insane. And he had both touchdowns. Oh, Smitty shaved his route. Yeah, okay. Eagles fan. Devontae, that was more of an A.J. Brown route that Smitty ran. I agree with you. That, in other words, I got confidence A.J. Brown steps up and makes that play. Smitty didn't make the play. Happy Victory Monday. Eagles fan, stop whining. Really? Hello.
And also Rory's down here.
Rory's down here? Okay. Come here, sweetheart. You want to say, can you say happy birthday, April?
Happy birthday, April.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, sweetheart. Skylifter is a dog. Bye, sweetheart. See ya.
I forgot to give you a hug and a kiss.
Oh, please, by all means. Love you, sweetheart. Oh, watch the court. There you go. Thank you. Love you too, sweetheart. Oh, God. She would do a better job running my sound than I would. That was James's birthday. Oh, yeah, James was. I knew that. Hello. Great show yesterday. Thank you, Charles Dad. Appreciate that. Muted. This is where I was muted. Sorry, everybody. My apologies. When I ran the long clip, I had to mute my sound, and I didn't take it off. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Yes, Sirianni was running my sound. Hear you now. Thank you, Wine Niners Wine. Don't you hate that when you're cooking? Yeah, I thought I was cooking. Mime impression is great. Thank you. Some rocking yesterday. Dome was rocking yesterday. Oh, you were down there. That's awesome. Eagles fan, Thomas Booker is a really good football player. I concur with that assessment. Everyone's chiming in that was down at the game. That's great. Ooh, that's interesting. Barkley scoring immediately after Smitty went down prevented hands from being thrown in the stands. Rose Pork, it's first off, great name. Second, does Lil Toots yell at her uncle Nick for his bonehead game management? Oh, she would. She's full of attitude. Oh, that's nice, April. Made my day. That's very nice. I'll pass that along. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful. Sorry again about my sound. Phillies tonight. They look to bounce back. Good times. After losing 3 of 4 to the Mets. I'm not going to lose my mind over that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great. This is the Farzi Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Hey, catch more of me on the Fox 29 crew coming up in a minute. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'll be back with you guys tonight on Locked On Sports Philadelphia for your Locked On Phillies postcast. Thanks for making us a 1,000-sub channel in our first season. Pretty excited about that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Catch you guys tonight on Locked On Phillies postcast and tomorrow morning for the Farzy Show. See you then.